I've decided to change things up a bit for my channel, and now I'm going to start making a series on abandoned rail lines that once scattered northern Virginia. Today's video will discuss the history of the Lorton and Occoquan Railroad and what's left of it. The Lorton and Occoquan Railroad was constructed in 1911 and ran from Lorton Station, Virginia to the Occoquan River. The line's primary use was to transport goods and prisoners for the Lorton Reformatory. The Lorton Reformatory was a prison which was built and operated off of prisoner labor and was able to produce everything from bricks to agricultural goods. The Lorton and Occoquan Railroad only interchanged with one other railroad, which was the Richmond Fredericksburg and Potomac Railroad. With a total of only 4 miles of mainline track, it was a relatively small railroad. They also had a total of 3 more miles of track made up of spur lines and branches to connect all of the prison operations together. The railroad operated for a total of 66 years, hauling coal, bricks, agricultural products, and prisoners. Operating on up to 7% grades, the railroad faced many challenges. One unique aspect of this railroad was that the engineers were mostly made up of police officers who were trained to operate railroad equipment. At any given day, it took about 21 people to operate the railroad, with 2 engineers who weren't prisoners, and 19 prisoners. The operations of the Lorton and Occoquan Railroad lasted until the late 70s, when the line was decommissioned as trucks could do the job for a cheaper price. Both the railroad and the prison are currently abandoned. The prison closed in 2001 due to the rapid growth of northern Virginia. Although much more remains of the prison, there are still many artifacts left behind from the railroad. The rest of this video will cover what is left of this unique railroad. Perhaps the most notable artifact left behind from this railroad is the Barrel Bridge. This unique bridge was constructed using an arch pattern and was built in 1946. The bridge was built so vehicles could pass over the tracks without getting stopped by a train. Most of the railroad's right-of-way is now in use as a multi-use trail. Part of the rail trail is part of the CCT trail that runs across Fairfax County. Another large portion of the railroad is now under a neighborhood that was constructed shortly after the closure of the Lorton Prison. The next clip shows what's left of the interchange point of the Lorton Occoquan Railroad and the RF&P. On the other side of the I-95 interstate is the RF&P main line. However, they are no longer connected as a recent expansion of the road covered up most of the Lorton Occoquan's right-of-way. Right after the interchange point with the RF&P, the Lorton Occoquan reaches its steepest point of almost 7%. This grade was very difficult for the small engines to climb. Another artifact found along the right-of-way is this old frame for a wooden boxcar. This boxcar was not in good enough shape to be sold off, so the railroad simply disposed of it in a nearby ravine. The frame of this boxcar is currently on display as construction workers found it in a nearby ravine when the rail trail was being constructed. It's good to see that some of the history is on display. Found at the workhouse property in the Lorton Prison is the original engine shed for the locomotives to be stored and worked on. This engine shed is located in the middle of a parking lot now, and many do not know its history as there is no other remnants of the railroad to be found close by. There are also some more hidden artifacts, such as this old signal foundation that held up a signal that protected the interchange with the R&P Railroad. These bridge pillars are located along the line where the line would cross over creeks. There are a couple of these still intact along the line, and it's pretty cool to see this history that is still intact. Luckily, they were not torn out during the construction of the rail trail. As surprising as it may be, part of this line still is in use to this very day. The famous Amtrak auto train actually utilizes part of the Lorton and Occoquan Railroad as a yard lead for the Amtrak yard in Lorton, Virginia. I've always had an interest in abandoned rail lines, which is why I'm inspired to make videos such as this one covering small railroads that were located in Northern Virginia. I do plan to make more videos such as this one, as there are many abandoned rail lines in Northern Virginia. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please be on the lookout for future videos in this series.